For those of you who do not know, I have another channel which is called Lack of Entertainment. And the reason I chose that name is because recently, everything that's coming out from the West, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a comic book, or a video game, is absolute garbage. And when I say it's absolute garbage, I mean in the sense that I cannot view myself 15 years from now sitting with my son on a couch and watching anything that came out in the recent years. Now, I can imagine watching old Disney movies or watching old movies that won Oscars for the Best Picture before 2016. Like, I can imagine watching Forrest Gump with my son. I can even imagine watching certain TV shows like Stargate. But I cannot imagine anything that came out, whether it is this year, last year, or 3 years ago, with my son in the future. It's just not worth it. It's bad. And the question has to be why? Why is it bad? And here you have an example. Like, everything that Hollywood is making right now, I would say like 80%, if not even 90% of the stuff they're making, is either a remake, a sequel, a reimagining. There's almost nothing original. And all of these things, they have hundreds of millions of dollars poured into them. Like, for instance, the latest thing that they did is Beetlejuice, which, again, is something that already existed. They're banking on the nostalgia. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's just like part of the trend. Like, at this point, if you're not making something new, I'm not even interested. I'm not even checking it out. And in order to make Beetlejuice, they had to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, there's this documentary which doesn't hire expensive and famous actors like Harrison Ford or like the actors that played in the new Borderlands movie. It doesn't have any expensive CGI like that Borderlands movie. And yet, despite all of that, it's number 4 on the box office, last time I checked. And take into account, it's number 4, despite the fact that it doesn't get screening in all the cinemas. Like, I know people that want to watch this, but they simply can't because they would have to travel a long distance in order to actually get to a cinema that's willing to screen this. And the reason it's in so few cinemas is that there have been leftist activists that have threatened these places of business to not air this movie. Like, it's absolutely insane. It's ridiculous, right? So, in order to actually make money, in order to actually make something profitable, you do not need CGI. You do not need remakes. You do not need any of the stuff that Hollywood is coming up with. You don't even need famous people. Like, all you need is to tell an interesting story that people want to see. And what other interesting story than making fun of DEI, something that you're not allowed to do in the mainstream. Like, in the corporate environment, this is a sacred cow. You can make fun of capitalism. You can make fun of the United States of America. You can make fun of many things, but like, this is one where you are not allowed. And as you can see, despite the overwhelming popularity, critics don't even want to touch it. They don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So now you have, like, on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, like, last time I checked, there was no critic score because no one wants to touch it, but, like, massively positive audience score. And this is why you have a lack of entertainment, because the people that are producing entertainment, they're not interested in doing that. They are interested in changing morality, in pushing the boundary. They actually say this out loud. You see directors, you see people that work in Hollywood just coming out and saying, yeah, we want to change the way people think. And by doing so, they are focusing on that, and they're not focusing on creativity. They're not focusing on making good movies. And you have a situation where someone just makes a documentary and they're printing money. Now, one of the things that this documentary is doing is that even the left likes it. I have seen people that are woke on Twitter. They're woke in public. Their entire account has various flags and paraphernalia and pronouns and all of that, and they like the movie. Why? Because the movie is exposing the grifters. It's basically saying, hey, even if you agree with the idea of diversity, inclusivity, and equity, look at the type of people that are pushing it. Notice how the people that are pushing it are in it for themselves. They want to make money for themselves. They claim that they're helping other people. They claim that they're trying to make the world better for everyone else, but in reality, they just care about themselves. And this is what the documentary is exposing. And it's exposing the grifting industry from behind the scenes. And this is why they're livid about it. Like, there are people who are mortified because their income is at stake. Because here is the fun part. Most of these woke people are insanely classist. And what I mean by this is that they actually look down with disgust towards what they consider to be the working class. If they see someone mopping the streets, they look with disgust at that person. If they see a truck driver, they wrinkle their nose and they look away. The only thing they care about is the prestige. Oh, have you gone and got your student debt? Have you managed to become a gender studies specialist? Are you an expert in lesbian dance art? That's what they care about. So the reality is that the truck driver can always find other work. The lesbian dance master, if they get fired, if society says, yeah, we actually don't need your work anymore because the economy doesn't allow for it, like we got too many lesbian dance masters and, they can't find any other work. It actually reminds me of a case that happened a couple of months ago with a truck driver from Poland, and he was caught saying something very disparaging toward immigrants because he's filming himself driving, and I think he reached the part between Calais and the UK, and there were a lot of immigrants attacking his truck, and he was saying how if any of them managed to sneak inside his lorry, the British government is going to fine him. And he was pointing out how unfair that was, and he was using disparaging language. Now, there were a lot of good leftist activists that were incredibly compassionate and did their best in order to get this person fired. And he did get fired, but like in a couple of weeks, he was working for a different company in another country. Because he's a truck driver. Like, they're essential. You need truck drivers in order to move stuff around. They're like the red blood cells of society. Meanwhile, if you have someone like Robin DiAngelo and all of a sudden the world realizes, okay, well, we actually don't need diversity consultants, they can't do anything else. That's it. That's the limit of their experience. You know, the truck driver, if he can't drive trucks, he can be an Uber driver. He can be a taxi driver. He can do other things with his profession and skills. But these people are absolutely mortified of the idea that they can be exposed. And the way that they can be exposed is that the thing that they're offering consulting for doesn't work. That you can call an anti-racist diversity consultant at your company and people can still say the N-word, so it's wasted cash. That they're out there for themselves. They're not actually there to change anything. They just want the money. So if you expose all of that, where are they going to go? So obviously they're going to use all their influence, all their resource, everything they get in order to prevent stuff like this from happening, to prevent movies like Am I Racist from going forward, and to prevent the damage that it can do. Like again, it's number 4 on the box office because it's only screened in a couple of places. And the places that they are even allowing the screening are under pressure from activist groups that use various threats, that use various underhanded tactics in order to get this movie away. So it's very interesting. And it's also very sad. Because this shows that you cannot make movies with certain themes, with certain content that are perfectly legal, but they just go against the common culture. They go against the grain. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.